Before we get moving on, obviously, to Oregon, which I hope everybody realizes we have to do, playing another top 5 team on the road is not something we can just dwell upon the things of the past. So we got to be able to move forward. But like I kind of finished with on Saturday night, like, look, everybody, including myself, I would think me more than most. I'm not saying that from the guys in that locker room, are very disappointed in where we are. The way that which we played and our ability to not just score points, but be as competitive as we need to be and want to be and expect to be. And so, I know how everybody feels, and I live it every single day of every minute, and I know guys in that locker room do the same thing. But we got to find ways to continue to push ourselves forward, move forward, find ways to continue to get better. And it's, it's everybody's responsibility in this program and in this team. And, I'm not shying away from that, not trying to avoid that and move on. But at some point in time, each and every week, the whole idea is you got to be able to move forward and go to the next step and find ways to continue to push and get better. And a lot of that has to do not just physically with, some of the things that we're going through, but also mentally as well. And so to dwell upon all the things that from the past doesn't do us any good, but also if we don't learn from the things of the past, then the chances of continuing to grow and be better are not going to happen. So there's a balance there. I understand that. I hope everybody outside understands that we're not just saying, hey, that it is what it is, happened on Saturday, and we move on. Like, yeah, we spent all day on Sunday trying to evaluate those things, see how areas that we can get better, and then move on. And so it doesn't get any easier, and I think everybody in this locker room, everybody in this coaching staff, we all understand that. We all understand what the expectations are. They have not been met. And we need to find a way to continue to get to those expectations. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to just happen over, 1 week to the next. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to be able to do to find ways to get a hell of a lot better and fast.
Questions here? Luke, have you been told you're going to be back next season? And is that a question you'd consider asking just so you can?
No, I don't think any of us have a crystal ball. I've never asked the question. It's not something that I can dwell upon. It's not something that I can't tell you that it's not something that you don't think about. I'm not saying it's something when you go home, your wife doesn't look at you, but it doesn't do us any good, right? It doesn't. It's not going to change the fact that we got to practice tomorrow. It's not going to change the fact of anything on Saturday. I guess you just let everybody else kind of deal with those things. But I have not been told. I'm not worried about that. I mean, I understand, if we don't meet expectations and we don't do the things we need to do, anything can happen.
Luke, Coach McIntosh sent out a letter today to the fans about just bowing, basically increased support. In your estimation, where do you think that needs to come in from the athletic department?
I don't know that that's, for me to answer right at this moment. All of us need support. Right now, our kids need support, right? That's what I do every single day right now. Look, I'm not stopping coaching. I'm not stopping pushing. I'm not stopping being honest. But, more than anything, as you battle through things like this, just like any of us have in our lives, like you need support. And right now, the most important support's inside that locker room, and making sure building these guys up and their confidence to be able to go out and play the game of football and the things that they love, and remember why they're doing it. And obviously, when you don't win, that's very difficult. But my job is not to worry about where the support's going to come in the future. My job is to make sure that, most importantly, that we can support the guys right now, in this moment, in these opportunities, and find ways to grow and be better and get better.
To sort of piggyback off that, I guess I'm curious, in this age, how do you know you have enough support, and how quickly, from a financial standpoint, and how quickly is that sort of changing, just from what you're seeing?
I'm not sure what I wasn't going to address like the support of the future, right? I mean, like, I don't know, right? I don't know that anybody knows in college football what all that means. That's probably one of the most unique things in college football today, is what is support and what does it look like. And, I guess in some ways, where does it come from? How does it come? But for us now, in the immediacy of the now, the thing is, how do we have support for those guys in that locker room? How do our coaches feel support for, hey, going out there and battling every single day and every single week? And that comes from me. I don't know that there's anybody outside of, our locker room, our offices that, can give you some support that's going to be different, that's going to affect anything that happens on Saturday. So I'm not trying to avoid the questions of that. I mean, I think that there are so many things that are unknown, what that looks like as we continue to move forward. For me and for what it is that we're doing, I mean, how can you focus past anything but what Saturday brings? And how can we, for me, focus anything past what Tuesday brings? And my chance and our opportunities to make sure that the guys that are going to be out there representing us in all shapes, fashions, forms, offense, defense, special teams, we're supporting them in the best way possible right now in this moment.
Steve, there you go. It's kind of off the subject, but you talked after the game Saturday about how good that Ohio State receiving core is. I'm just wondering, I think like 7 of the top 20-something receivers in the country, according to receiving yards per game, are Big Ten guys. You've been in the conference for a while. Just how much stronger is the quality of receivers across the league, and why do you think it's gotten
the old school version of what the Big Ten was, right? Was just running the football and big physical guys, and everything down south was about athleticism and speed. I think that everybody's starting to realize that that's not the case, right? I'm not saying that there's more in the Big Ten than there is in the SEC, but I think that what we see and we have seen on a consistent basis is it's as good as you get. And there's more NFL talent, and maybe even in the wide receiver pool in the Big Ten than there is any other position, which I don't know if you could ever have said that, in the last 100 years. But I think that's where we're seeing the evolution of what this game is and where we got to continue to grow to be competitive in that way. I didn't know all those stats, though, but that doesn't surprise me.
Luke, you talked about the frustration of being shut out last week. You had a chance to kick a field goal at the end of the game. What was kind of the calculus there? I know it doesn't really, a margin doesn't matter. But
no, I don't know. I mean, to try to stop a record from 1977 where you've had 2 games that are scoreless. Look, you get questioned if you don't use your timeouts before the end of the half. You get questioned if you don't use your timeouts at the end of the game. You get questioned if you don't kick a field. I mean, everything's in question, and I understand that. I don't know that there's an exact and a right answer, other than, keep playing, find a way. I mean, we could have called timeouts to see if we could get more opportunities to get the ball in the end zone. I didn't feel like it was the time that was going to keep us out of the end zone. It was our ability to execute. We're going to run out of downs before we're going to run out of time, so we didn't use timeouts. I don't know that, kicking the field goal was in the cards. The idea we got the ball back is guys go score. And I don't mean kick a field goal. I meant let's keep finding ways to, pound the football or see if we can get the ball down the field.
There's a shot of you coming off the field Saturday, and I'm guessing fans were saying stuff to you, and you kind of did this. I don't want to interpret anything. I thought I'd let you explain kind of what you meant by that.
Did you see that, or did somebody else?
It's online. I mean,
okay. Wait,
somebody got it.
You know what? It's nothing more than I hear you. Blame me, put it on me. More than anything, I want them to support the kids that are out there. Right? I mean, those are the peers. I know that, maybe at some point in time we don't look at them, whether it's students, whether it's fans, as they are their peers, but they are. And if anything, it's guys. Blame me, put it on me. I can handle it. I understand. I recognize the situation that we're in. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It is what it is. But it's just one of those things that, more so than anything, to say, look, I understand. I hear you. Not to say I like it, but I mean, heck, it's a part of the game. So it's more that than anything else. That maybe hopefully they recognize that what they do say is heard. Don't know that it needs to be a response to, but I in some ways, hey, now they know that I do hear them, and there is a response that, hey, I understand, put it on me because, I'm the one who's to blame.
Luke, I'm not saying this week's the best week to think about this, but you've talked about kind of building around some of the younger guys and just with quarterback in general. how is Carter Smith looking? And just
I don't know.
how-
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see like some opportunities on Tuesday to see if it's possible. It's kind of like kicking a field goal at the end of the game, Mike. Right? I mean, everybody can ask and question and try to figure out what's best. That's the same question I get at my own home. So I understand. There's an opportunity for everybody in the program now to, earn a chance to go out there. Carter could be one of them. We got to be able to see, but we got to be able to see some things on a Tuesday and Wednesday, because to support the guys in that locker room, you also got to do what the guys in those locker room see and can believe in. And to just put somebody out there, I'm not saying Carter doesn't deserve the opportunity. I'm not saying anybody doesn't deserve the opportunity. Cooper Catalano does, is another freshman guy that's playing a lot of ball that maybe gets more opportunities this week. Like, it has a lot to do with making sure you can maintain the respect of that locker room and knowing that those guys know everything. They know how guys handle their business. They know how guys work, and they know what they want to play with and be beside, whether it's going to give them the best opportunity to win or not. They got a better grasp sometimes than I can assure you than anybody outside the locker room.
Luke, you've said at various times this season, whether it's a specific game or just what this team's going through, you're experiencing some things perhaps you haven't experienced before as a coach. I know we're asking you a lot of big picture questions, but how difficult is it for you personally to avoid some of the pitfalls that come with what's happening externally?
Well, I've always said, I live under a rock. I don't allow the things to affect me externally. It's not easy. I mean, we're human too, and we got families, and it's a part of the game. We understand that. In some ways, you always say, we know what we signed up for. Sometimes you don't realize what it is that you signed up for too. But to sit here and say that it's not difficult, I'd be lying, right? Is it easy for me to handle? No, but it's a hell of a lot easier for me to handle than probably some others, whether it's, your family and the things that they go through, the coaches and what they have to go through as well. We get the opportunity, for me, to be honest with you, to come in here on Sunday morning and really not be able to hear a whole lot or see a whole lot all the way until Thursday, when maybe you see the light of day. So that does make it a little bit easier than it does for even our own kids. But just to say I don't hear and recognize it, I would be completely lying.
Coach, I'm guessing you're always, looking for different ways to help this team. But in the midst of all this, are there any concrete changes you've made maybe during the week or on game days to try maybe just get this team to respond the way you want to, or maybe game plan wise to help turn this thing around?
Yeah, there's some simplification of things, because if you're going to play with some younger guys, you gotta do the things that they're able to do, whether that's offensively and defensively. By nature, there's some things we've had to do and are going to have to continue to do to change as the way we practice, just with the amount of injuries and some things that we have to be able to go through. Don't get me wrong, from the way we warm up for a game to the way that the time we go out, all those things are being evaluated. But like you said, probably the most important thing is just what does the support look like inside that locker room? Can you sit next to the guys after practice? Can you sit next to the guys, after the game? I mean, just to be around them, to more than anything, I don't know that there's